Hi everybody. This video I'm going to just be talking about quite a number of things, so hopefully it will help you see where I'm coming from a lot of the things regarding Formula One and what is truly going on. And I do hope that even the people that have followed the channel with the sole reason to discredit what I'm putting out due to their desire, because they either love Max Verstappen or hate Lewis Hamilton, whatever their reasons are, they've come here to try to rubbish everything that I'm saying. I hope that even those people can realise what it is I'm saying through what I present in this video. So I'm going to start by saying I hate Sky Sports F1. Hate is a strong word, but I hate Sky Sports F1. I do not hate Sky Sports Premier League. I do not hate Sky Sports Cricket. I don't hate Sky Sports Golf or any of the other Sky Sports channels. But Sky Sports, and these are the Sky Sports channels I'm talking about, Sky Sports F1 is not only toxic, it is extremely damaging. The reason I hate Sky Sports F1 is that they present lies. Their lies condition beliefs. Their lies have purposefully created conflict. And I will make future videos to evidence what I'm saying. But their lies have miseducated people, misinformed people, conditioned people's beliefs, and created conflict. It has created hate. The people that have come to this channel to protest against myself, to challenge the things that I am presenting, do so, well, they're fanatics that believe that they are right and are incapable of listening to what I present and understanding the validity of it, but their belief has been conditioned by what they've been told by Sky Sports F1, and that isn't true. And when people are fed information that isn't true, that is extremely damaging. Extremely damaging. Now, one of the tactics used by the people in control, and I'm going to use that term at the moment, and again I will go into greater detail at some point, but one of the tactics used is to create conflict. Because if people are arguing about what is right and what is wrong, the focus becomes on the argument between the two arguing parties, and whilst them two arguing parties are arguing with each other, both are ignoring the people in control at the top who are continuing to do what they are doing. And that is a simplistic way of trying to explain to everybody that this whole thing is manipulated. And the conflict being created, the hatred being created, is by design. And that is truly disgusting. So whilst I am on the receiving end of numerous trolling comments and hatred from some people that come here and choose to be the way that they are, That is their choice, so they have to be held to account for the way that they conduct themselves. Their beliefs have been conditioned purposefully by people running the show and their contracted broadcaster. Hence, I hate Sky Sports F1. They're disgusting, and the damage they've done and are doing is something that will need to be seriously punished, and we'll come to that in the future. This is an individual you see on the screen. I have got the BBC, and we have their Formula One section of the BBC Sport webpage, and they have the head of their department. They call him the chief, their chief F1 writer, Andrew Benson. I hate Andrew Benson. Now, the difference between Sky Sports F1 and the BBC is that Sky Sports F1 are contracted by Liberty Media. Liberty Media contract F1 to present the sport. Hence, whatever the Liberty Media agenda is, Sky Sports are paid to present that. That is the way that dynamic works. The BBC are not contracted by Liberty Media. The BBC is effectively funded by licence payers. Hence, what the BBC should be telling both the world and both the people of the United Kingdom is the reality of what is going on. The truth. Nice advert going on in the background there. And I'm just trying to play some songs that I feel relate to this situation. Anyway, Andrew Benson works for the BBC as their chief F1 writer. So if people don't subscribe to Sky Sports because they don't feel that it's worth paying Sky £34 a month to have a Sky Sports package, but are interested in the sport of Formula One and want to find out information about Formula One, and don't buy Autosport magazine and don't buy Motorsport magazine, they might look on the BBC Sport webpage and learn about Formula One from what the BBC has to say about it. The BBC, as I say, is effectively funded by the British licence fee payer. Andrew Benson is likely to be on a salary of around about maybe £150,000 a year. That's a guess, but I've looked into the salaries of other people in similar positions, and I think that's a reasonably feasible amount to describe his salary. Andrew Benson has never once told the truth about Abu Dhabi. He's never once conducted himself as a journalist. And off the back of doing a video talking about the Crashgate scandal of 2008, this appeared. You can see the 22nd of August 2023 by Andrew Benson, and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to show you exactly the quality of what this man produces. I hate Andrew Benson because he should be independent, he should be calling this out, but all he does is parrot the F1 narrative and conditions the mind of people. The man is a fraud. He is complicit with the fraud. He's truly disgusting. And I've complained to the BBC about him on numerous occasions, and he's got backers there that just protect his ass. But anyway, let me talk you through what Andrew... Look at this article. You can go to the BBC Sport website and you can read it yourself. It said F1 Crashgate. Frederick Vasseur says it would be strange to change 2008 title result. So on the face of it, he is almost supportive of Lewis Hamilton maintaining his accomplishment of being the 2008 winner of the Drivers' Championship, and said it would be strange to change it. So on the face of it, it seems like a pro Lewis Hamilton argument. But let's look through what Andrew Benson writes about it. So there's a picture of Singapore with Fernando Alonso's ING sponsored car. Oh, sorry, actually, this is Nelson Piquet's car, probably. Rookie driver Nelson Piquet Jr. crashed his Renault on lap 15 of the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, triggering a safety car period. Ferrari team principal Frederick Vasseur believes it would be strange in inverted commas, to change the result of the 2008 World Championship 15 years later. Former Ferrari driver Felipe Massa is taking legal action against Formula One bosses and is seeking compensation for the Crashgate scandal. Okay. So you can make that statement, but then you need to explore it, and you need to suggest what is really feasible in the real world. Anyway, so this is the writing of Andrew Benson, okay? So he's quoted that Vasseur believes it would be strange, and then he said what Massa is intending to do. And then stating Massa's lawyers claims he lost the title to Lewis Hamilton because Renault fixed the Singapore Grand Prix. Okay? So that's the statement he's made. Vasseur said it was a tricky topic with exceptional circumstances. Okay, so let's explore what happened. What happened was Alonso qualified in about 14th or 15th in that race. Renault hatched a plan where they would have a strategy whereby they would crash one of their drivers at a certain point, and by certain cars pitting and adjusting Alonso's pit strategy accordingly, Alonso would leapfrog a lot of them competitors, put his car much higher up the field to give Alonso a much better chance of winning that race. So that's what they did. That was cheating, and for cheating they need to be penalised. There needs to be consequences. Whatever they accomplished at that event needs to be eradicated. It needs to be absolved. They need to be disqualified from that event. That's what you do in sport. When there is any form of cheating that's going on, anybody that is found guilty and is found out to be cheating gets disqualified. To this day, Alonso is still recorded as being the winner of that race. Why is nobody kind of setting the alarm bells off and saying that's a problem? Why has Alonso never been disqualified from that race? His team cheated, which got him that race win. What on earth are the FIA doing by not disqualifying that team, which means that Alonso is disqualified from that race? So number one, that is a glaring problem. Number two, when a competitor or a team cheats in sport, you do not cancel or null and void the entire contest. That's not what you do. Imagine the Premier League season. The whole Premier League season goes by and one team is on course to win it, and actually they are winning it, and in the last game of the season one of the teams cheats. What do? Do you just cancel the whole season? Oh, this team has played an ineligible player. Oh, this team has bribed the referee. What do? Do you cancel the Premier League for that season? Do you cancel that round of games? Or do you disqualify the cheats? You disqualify the cheats. What happened in that event was Renault cheated. All teams were affected by it because all teams were subject to what then played out. The safety car was deployed. So, when a safety car is deployed due to a car crash, teams react to it. They often bring their cars into the pits, change their tyres. At that time, it was refuel the car as well. And then they put the cars back on track and the race carries on. Had everything gone well with Ferrari, there would be no issue. Massa was in the lead. If his pit stop would have gone well, he'd have changed his tyres, got refueled, gone out on the track, and everything would have been fine. That didn't happen. And it didn't happen because Ferrari messed up. They made an error in what they did. There was a technological error whereby they'd got this automated release system for Massa, which gave him the green light to get going again when the fuel hose was still attached to his car. So Massa drove off, feeling that he'd been given that instruction, with the fuel hose still attached, and it ripped the fuel hose along off the top section, and he dragged the fuel hose along the pit lane with him. He came to a standstill at the end of the pit lane. The Ferrari mechanics ran down, wrenched the fuel hose off of him, but the time taken meant that he lost a lot of places. Now, whose fault is that? That is the responsibility of the Ferrari team. Every other team in that event was affected in the same way. They didn't make that mistake. Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean the event gets cancelled. The example I've given previously is in athletics, in a relay event. If one of the teams has cheated through being drug cheats, they get disqualified. But if you've dropped the baton, your team is out of that race. Your team made that mistake. Had you have not dropped the baton and finished second to the drug cheat, you win the gold. But if you drop the baton, you're out of the race. Unlucky. You made the mistake. That's the way it goes. You then can't go complaining that, oh, you're hard done by, the whole race should be null and void. Unlucky. Just because they took drugs, so the whole race is null and void. Well, actually, had you not dropped the baton and come second, you'd be promoted to first and you'd have got the gold. But you dropped the baton. That's your fault. So, Benson hasn't explored any of that. Let's read through what Benson puts in his article. Massa's lawyers claim he lost the title to Lewis Hamilton because Renault fixed the Singapore Grand Prix. Now, Renault did fix the Singapore Grand Prix, but that wasn't the reason that Massa lost the title. Massa lost the title because Ferrari messed up. Vassar said it was a tricky topic with exceptional circumstances. He added, I am not a big fan of changing the result 15 minutes after the flag, let alone 15 years. Right, so Andrew Benson has decided that he thinks it's worthy of writing a statement of that for people to read. I am not a big fan of changing the result 15 minutes after the flag, let alone 15 years. You know what, Vassar, Frederick Vassar, I do not give a fuck whether you're a big fan of changing the result 15 minutes after the flag or not. I don't give a fuck what you are the fan of. There is something called sport, sporting integrity, what is right and what is wrong. And if it is found that somebody has cheated in an event, you change the result. Whether you are a fan of that or not is irrelevant. I do not give a fuck what you think. But Andrew Benson has decided he wants to actually present that. Let's be clear about this. And I'll use this as an example. I admire Usain Bolt, who I consider as being one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen in sport. Usain Bolt won something that we labelled the triple triple, whereby he won the 100 metres, the 200 metres and the 4x100 metre relays at 3 consecutive Olympic Games. That is an incredible achievement that I doubt will ever be repeated. Something that I am in awe of. A human being that I'm in awe of because of what he was capable of. Now, he had one of those medals stripped from him, which was, I believe, the 2008 Olympic relay medal. I found that disappointing. The notion of the triple triple, the 9 Olympic golds, that legacy, one was taken away from him, which was the relay gold. The reason it was taken away is that I think it was Nestor Carter, one of the 4 athletes in his team in that relay, was a drugs cheat. His sample that was returned showed that he'd been taking drugs. So that relay team had cheated. Of all the competitors in that event who had taken their time, who had worked hard, who had expended blood, sweat and tears, dedicated years of their life to becoming the best that they could be, with that same aim of winning that gold medal at that Olympics, they were deprived from doing that by somebody who had cheated, who had taken a substance to give them an illegal performance advantage, and actually that meant that that illegal performance advantage had contributed to beating those competitors that had played by the rules. You have to disqualify the cheats. So as much as I admire Usain Bolt, if his team cheated, you disqualify the cheats. That is the way life should work. It's about integrity. It's about what's right. It's about what's right and it's about what's wrong. It's not up for discussion. It's not about what do you think about this in the comment section. Because you know what? I do not give a fuck about what you think in the comment section. Because I know what is right and what is wrong. I don't need your opinion. Because your opinion isn't going to change what is right and what is wrong. And if your opinion is different about what is right and what is wrong, you are the one that's fucked up. You are seriously fucked up if you cannot appreciate what is right and what is wrong. Quite simple. So you need to look inwardly at your own belief system, and maybe that has been nurtured. Look at your upbringing, because that maybe is the thing that means you're a person of zero integrity. So, Vasseur, I'm not a big fan of changing the result 15 minutes after the flag, let alone 15 years. If it is found that something is wrong, somebody has cheated, you do not allow them to keep what they have gained illegally, what they have gained through cheating. To deny somebody that competed and gave their all in accordance with what is required, in accordance with the rules, but you let somebody that's cheated beat them. The fuck is that all about? And you know what? If you don't like the language I'm using, I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because my language isn't the disgusting thing. The disgusting thing is the actions of what is taking place. And if you don't like the words used to describe the actions, you should question what it is that truly offends you. Words, or what is allowed to take place? What is more damaging? What is more damaging? In a letter seen by Reuters news agency, Massa's legal team says it is seeking damages reaching into the tens of millions of dollars for what they claim is a conspiracy that denied him the 2008 title. So again, we use this term conspiracy. Who was conspiring for that event? Were the FIA conspiring with Renault? I don't know. What we do know is that Renault cheated. We know Renault cheated. Were they cheating to affect the outcome of the championship? From the evidence that we can currently see, that doesn't appear to be the case. It very much appears to be that Renault cheated so that their car could win that race to get the global publicity for their team and their brands and their sponsors at that flagship race. By cheating, it wasn't as though their driver was somehow involved in the Drivers' Championship. Their team wasn't involved in the battle for the Constructors' Championship title. It seemed purely a attempt to get publicity for their brand and their sponsors' brands at that particular event. So the notion of the term conspiracy seems highly unusual to even use that term. Again, how does Benson explore any of this? Massa's actions stem from an interview with former F1 boss Bernie Ecclestone earlier this year, in which he said he and then FIA president Max Mosley, who has now passed away, knew that the crash by Renault's Nelson Piquet Jr., which turned the Singapore Grand Prix on its head, was deliberate but took no action. They took no action. So Bernie Ecclestone knew, apparently Max Mosley knew, who's now dead, and apparently Charlie Whiting knew, who's now dead. Bernie's the only one left of the three that he claimed knew. And now Bernie claims he's forgotten about it, even saying that. So what has happened here is Bernie found out that Renault had crashed one of their cars on purpose, and rather than penalise them, rather than expose the fact that one team has cheated, he covered it up at the time, and that is a fraud in covering up a cheat. So Bernie Ecclestone is complicit with cheating, effectively is complicit with fraud. How has Benson described that? What has Benson said about that? Ecclestone told Reuters, I don't even care how you pronounce that. He could not remember saying what was attributed to him. Okay, I'm now in my 90s. I'm a billionaire in my 90s. I can't remember what I said, because if I said that, it clearly incriminated me as being a criminal, which no journalist has exposed Bernie Ecclestone as being a criminal for being complicit with fraud. But that is exactly what he is. But no, we can't say that about billionaire Bernie, because what if billionaire Bernie gets his legal teams, his lawyers onto us for saying that we've said something nasty about Bernie? I don't give a fuck. Come at me. Get Bernie, get your fucking legal teams onto me for me calling you a fraud. Because you are fraudulent. You are a criminal. I will say that because that is what you are. If you covered that up, you are a criminal. But the reason you covered it up is because you did not want it to damage the value of your asset, which was the sport of Formula 1, because that would have negatively impacted you financially. That is the reason. What has Benson said about it? Let's come down a bit. Sorry, I've already read that bit out. Piquet revealed during 2009 that his crash was deliberate, and his actions led to an investigation which resulted in Renault team boss Flavio Briatore and Chief Technical Officer Pat Symonds being banned from F1 for a number of years. So an investigation found Briatore had done this, and Pat Symonds was complicit with it too. And they were banned from Formula 1. Both have since been permitted to return to the paddock. What have you got to say about that, Benson? What have you got to say about the fact that Pat Symonds, a man complicit and implicated in cheating in the sport, is now the Formula 1 technical officer? What the fuck is going on? And what are you saying about it? BBC chief F1 writer on 150 grand a year, Andrew fucking Benson. Massa had been leading the race, but errors during his pit stop under the safety car led him to leaving the pits with the fuel hose attached to his Ferrari, forcing his retirement. Let's read this one again. This is the BBC chief correspondent, the BBC F1 chief correspondent, Andrew Benson. Been doing this since 2012, the year in which the FIA changed the safety car regulations. Benson has been the F1 chief of the BBC since then, right? You don't understand how much this bastard angers me, right? But Massa had been leading the race, but errors during his pit stop under the safety car led him to leaving the pits with the fuel hose still attached to his Ferrari, forcing his retirement. Let's have a look at the accuracy of that statement, Andrew. We'll come to the Monaco Grand Prix. There's Singapore. And we'll come to the Germany Grand Prix as well. That's a bit of a revision for the strap-on boys. Let's have a look at this, and let's pause the background music for a second, because this I want you to all listen to. This is the closing stages of the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, which I'm going to have to periodically stop because F1, the sport, keeps blocking my videos, and I'll come to that in a minute. Listen to this. Closing sections of the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, the event of Crashgate.
Coming through to take his first victory of the season, and Renault's first win of the season. And
so this is with 4 races of the season to go. Alonso's first win of the season and Renault's first win of the season. So they clearly were not in contention for the Drivers' Championship or the Constructors' Championship.
20th of his Formula 1 career.
Only the 20th of Alonso's career, right? And you compare that with Super Max today. But look what they say about about Fernando. This is the 20th victory of his career.
Who many regard at the moment as the best pound-for-pound driver in Formula 1.
So there you go. The best pound-for-pound driver in Formula 1 at the moment. Right? Only achieved 20 Grand Prix.
Fernando Alonso coming through to take the checkered flag and claim a very, very well-deserved victory.
A well-deserved victory. Okay, so it's been cheated, but again, the commentators fully deserve it. We love the well-deserved, don't we?
Formula 1's first ever night race. Second.
Formula 1's first ever night race. What an accolade to be the team that wins that.
Is Nico Rosberg, and extending his championship lead. Lewis Hamilton finished.
That was Flavio there on the pit wall, in for probably a couple of £1 million backhander from ING for getting their brand, all the global exposure for winning this first ever night Grand Prix. Why don't you, Flavio? We'll sort you out, son.
She's third.
Yeah. Fourth for Glock. Fifth. 2 more points. More points for
Vettel.
Heidfeld sixth. Coulthard with 2 points for 7. Nakajima just beats Button over the line for the final World Championship point.
So back then you used to get championship points down to 8th position. So Nakajima got 8th position for the final World Championship points. Let's just carry this on for a minute.
In 8th place.
And that puts Williams level.
11th Kubica, 12th Boo, whatever that Boo stands for. What's this red car? What's this red car coming in now? Has he retired? Did he retire due to that? What Benson described he retired at, or what's this?
Championship, and there's the man who led from pole position at the start, Felipe Massa, crawling across the line in 13th place.
You heard that, didn't you? You did hear that, didn't you? Let me just go back 10 seconds. Let me just check I'm not seeing something.
Just nibbling at their heels in the Constructors' Championship, and there's the man who led from pole position at the start, Felipe Massa, crawling across the line in 13th place.
Now, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Massa had been leading the race, but errors during his pit stop under the safety car led him to leaving the pits with the fuel hose attached to his Ferrari, forcing his retirement. What's the truth? What's the fucking truth? Was his retirement forced, or did he finish that race in 13th position? What have we just seen? So what we've got in here is Andrew fucking Benson, chief F1 writer, giving us some bullshit. Now, if you've been doing a job since 2012 and can't come up with fucking basics, being paid 150 grand a year, you're disgusting, Benson. You're disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The Sir addressed the question on the situation in a news conference on Tuesday, by drawing parallels with current attempts by stakeholders to push the FIA to know the results of the event at the checkered flag. Push the FIA to know the result of the event at the checkered flag. What is that all about? What is that all about? The Sir addressed a question on the situation in a news conference on Tuesday by drawing parallels with the current attempts by stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? To push the FIA to know the results of the event at the checkered flag. What was the result of the 2008 Beijing Olympics 4x100 meters relay final at the checkered flag, at the point where they crossed the line? Well, the result was Jamaica won. If it's discovered that one of their team cheated, and that their cheating enabled that team to achieve victory, but that wasn't in accordance with the rules of the sport, then that victory gets stripped from that team. That gets stripped from their team. I think this has been updated as a when I first read this, where has it gone? I'm looking at this now. I think he has updated this because originally it said, and I've got this on, I'm gonna pause this video now and take the screenshots back, because I think Benson has edited this. But even after he's edited this, he still puts in there the fact, he still hasn't picked up on the fact that he said that Massa retired. I'm going to pause this video and found the screenshots that I took. So what you see on the screen now is actually a video I took of it. I videoed a screen recording of the BBC Sport website showing when the article was published and me scrolling down the article. And this paragraph doesn't appear to be in the present article, but this was in the paragraph that was there when the article was published. Piquet's crash triggered a safety car period which helped his teammate Fernando Alonso vault to the front, from where he went on to win, though a subsequent investigation found Alonso had no knowledge of the plot. So Andrew Benson wants to inform the world that a subsequent investigation found Alonso had no knowledge of the plot. What is the relevance of that? Fuck all. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely. But what that is, it's a little validatory statement. Oh, it's not Alonso's fault. It's not Alonso's fault. Don't have a go at Alonso. It's not his fault. That's what all the validators, that's what all the little excusers will want to hang on to there. But let's look back at the Usain Bolt situation. Did Usain Bolt know that Nesta Carter had taken drugs, performance enhancing drugs, to give his body an enhancement to be able to run faster? Probably not. Usain Bolt probably would not have known that, because any athlete with that knowledge wouldn't want to be in a team with somebody, because they know if that sort of thing gets found out, they lose everything. That's how it works. So Usain Bolt, one of the world's greatest ever athletes, probably had no idea whatsoever that one of the people in that team, in that relay team, was cheating. Does that matter? Jamaica won the 2008 gold medal. One of the team was cheating, but Usain Bolt had no idea. What the fuck does that matter? Nothing. Doesn't fucking matter who knows about it. The facts are, somebody cheated, that team gets disqualified. But what does Benson feel is the right thing to tell the world? Benson, you're a fucking twat. Absolute corrupt twat. Absolutely corrupt. Now I'm just flicked back to the original screen of what is still there, and I'm realising that actually it hasn't been deleted. It is still there, but when I'm skim reading over it, trying to re-find my place where I'm reading and then make the points I'm making, I couldn't say I make errors. I make mistakes, but when I'm doing a written piece, you fact check, you make sure what you're doing is right, and this is my analysis of somebody else's work and things that I'm picking out. I'm looking at what they're doing and thinking this is entirely wrong. So what he's putting forward here, right, is just things to condition people's minds. Why is this article in existence? Why are they talking about this? Why are they talking about Crashgate? Well, that was a controversial incident in Formula One. What's more controversial? 2021. A competitor being cheated out of the Drivers' Championship through manipulation by the sport itself. By the sport itself. And what is being presented in this situation? By Benson, the validator. Benson is presenting the notion of Vasseur saying, I don't like the result of the race being changed even 15 minutes later, let alone 15 years. I'm not a big fan of changing the result 15 minutes after, let alone 15 years. So we're 20 months after Abu Dhabi, and we have to get this notion. Oh, I don't like the notion of Abu Dhabi being changed this amount after. So all what it is all about putting forward that narrative. That's exactly what it is. We're using the term conspiracy. That straight away makes people go, oh, conspiracy theory. Is this some cuckoo, harebrained idea that these crazy people are dreaming up this notion of conspiracy? Because they've told us that if we use the word conspiracy theory, it makes us project that people are nutters coming up with these ridiculous ideas that could never really happen. So let's just call them conspiracy theorists. So let's use the word conspiracy and make it look like some ridiculous plot for something to have ever happened. Let's laugh at them in their tinfoil hats. This is what you're doing, Benson. This is what you're doing. The language you're using, the methods that you're using, what you are doing is presenting for the corrupt regime of Formula One. You are not presenting as a body independent of that, analysing what is truly going on. Who is paying your wages, Andrew Benson? Who is paying your £150,000 a year salary? It's not the sport of Formula One. It's the licence payer. But what are you doing? What are you doing? Is what you're doing journalism? Is what you're doing exposing the corruption that is going on in this sport? Absolutely it is not. Have you ever exposed Abu Dhabi? Have you ever exposed the fact that F1 TV, the broadcasting TV company owned by Formula One, have you exposed that they created a narrative? Have you exposed that the footage they presented to the global watching audience and the interjected messages that they chose to broadcast to the world neglected informing the fans of what the state of the track was, whether it was possible to go racing as a result of the state of that accident and the clear-up operation, the radio messages and the things that they displayed, several of them were not in accordance with the rules of the sport and served entirely to make viewers believe it was possible for a racing ending to that event, and the reality was, due to the state of that clear-up operation, that was not possible in accordance with the rules of the sport. When have you, Andrew Benson, the BBC's chief F1 writer, the BBC's chief F1 writer, ever exposed that? When have you, Andrew Benson, ever explained the safety car rules to the fans of Formula One? You haven't. When have you, Andrew Benson, the chief F1 correspondent from Formula One, explained to fans the purpose of the Formula One safety car rules? The answer to that is you haven't. What the fuck are you doing, Andrew Benson? You corrupt fuck. You corrupt fuck. Because that is what you are. You, in your position, could have exposed this within hours of the event. And for 20 months beyond the event, the abuse, the hatred, the trolling, the misinformation, the war taking place in social media could have been eradicated by you, you corrupt bastard. But instead, you have chosen to be part of the F1 system, peddling the fucking lies with your fucking lies that have just validated the F1 train. You are a corrupt bastard. That is what you are, Benson. You know what you are. You're a man of zero integrity. Absolutely zero integrity. So when you reported on what Massey did, you did not explain the implications of it whatsoever. When you reported on the fact that Lewis Hamilton was robbed of becoming an 8-time world champion, a record-breaking 8-time world champion, you reported that Max Verstappen fully deserved it. You parroted what Karun Chandok said in that, there was still another set of circumstances where Max Verstappen may still have won that race. And you left it there. You didn't explain what them circumstances were. Neither did Karun Chandok. I remember listening to that from Karun. I remember reading that from you, Benson. And then it was left there. And I'm still waiting for that other set of circumstances. I'm still waiting. From Karun and from you. Because that other set of circumstances does not exist. It doesn't exist. What have you ever reported about the steward's appeal, Benson? What have you ever reported about the steward's appeal? Nothing. What have you ever exposed about the FIA review of the situation? And the fact that a 14-year-old child could have written something which with more substance than what that review was. The F1 chief couldn't go through that report with a fine-tooth comb and pick out how much bullshit and irrelevant bollocks was in that report. But what did you do, Benson? What did you do? Fuck all. You took your 150 grand salary and whatever fucking backhander you were getting from the sport of Formula One and presented this corrupt bullshit to people of this world. You are a disgusting bastard. That is what you are, Andrew Benson. And to anybody that doesn't like my language, decide what you're more offended by. Somebody using words that you do not approve of, or somebody's corrupt, immoral, zero integrity actions, and what them actions are designed to achieve. And this bastard, Andrew Benson, has actions that are designed to condition people's thoughts, beliefs, and condition them to move on from Abu Dhabi. That is not what the British license fee payer deserves. We need the truth. We need what is really going on. And Andrew Benson clearly is not capable of delivering that because he is corrupt. And that is a fucking fact. A fact. Now, I did say I'm going to talk about a few of the things. I've had part one of the... I was trying not to get angry on this video, but sometimes I get wound up by certain people and certain individuals, and Andrew Benson is one of them. He makes my blood boil. I'm sorry that I got angry, and I'm sorry that I used words that I try not to use. Prior to Abu Dhabi 2021, you will not see any evidence of me going onto social media, creating videos, or even posting any language like that on any social media. And the reason you won't find any evidence is because it didn't happen. That's not who I am. But something happened that has triggered me to say I've had enough of this. I'm not having this anymore. And I'm not going to be polite about it. Because I don't care whether you're offended by me or my words. I'm offended by these people. These people in positions of power that have done this to us. Because they've shown no regard for us whatsoever. They don't give a fuck about us. And when I talk about us, that's all of us. All of us people with integrity, they do not give a fuck about any of us. So why should I care about them? They want respect. Where is their respect for us? And they showed us with their actions that they've got zero respect for us. And that has caused this response from me. So if you don't like me, look at what the root cause of the problem is. Look at what the root cause. Because this is what you're provoking. And this is the response you're going to get from me. You expect me to be civil? Be civil off the back of you doing that to us? That ain't happening. But I'm coming to this. Formula One, the sport of Formula One, claimed by Formula One management. So they've blocked my safety cars for dummies, the first video I did, which exposes that at the 2012 Australian Grand Prix, Crofty stated that the rules of the sport have changed and now lapped cars will be required to unlap before racing can resume after a safety car period. So I did the Formula One for Dummies part 1, showed that took place in 2012, but that video has been taken down by F1 after a manual review. So they're clearly looking at my channel's content and they're going to try and take down the things that they can. Now, okay, you can take down my review of that, but here we go. Look at this date here, 8th of March 2011. So that is the start of the 2011 season. This is 40.11. When the clerk of the course decides it's safe to call the safety car, the message safety car in this lap will be displayed on the timing monitors and the car's orange lights will be extinguished. This will be signalled to the teams and drivers that it will be entering the pit at the end of that lap. Okay, so that was at the 8th of March 2011. We see the evolution of rules. We see this is what happened. So 7th of December 2011. So later that year, 7th of December 2011, before the 2012 season, this is what they've amended the rules to become. If the clerk of the course considers it safe to do so, safety, and the message lapped cars may now overtake is shown on the timing monitors, any cars that have been lapped by the leader will be required to pass the cars on the lead lap and the safety car. And this is the bit where we're talking about pit strategy. This will only apply to cars that were lapped at the time they crossed the line at the end of the lap, during which they crossed the first safety car line and the second time the safety car was deployed. Okay, and it carries on. You can Google this for yourself. You can Google 2011 F1 sporting regulations, 2012 F1 sporting regulations, 2013 F1 sporting regulations. You'll get the results. Read them. Read the safety car regulations. That's what I do. That's what I evidence. Okay? I'm not doing it out of choice. I'm doing it to prove to the world what is true. What is true. It's time consuming, but I'm not going to let these bastards get away with fraud. I'm not going to let it happen. And it is fraud. It is entirely fraud. And nobody is calling it out. It's criminality, and it's bastards like Andrew Benson that is allowing it and validating it and conditioning people to accept it and to move on from it. Disgusting. I'll never forgive people like that, ever. I will never forgive the damage that they are doing to condition the minds of people. And you will see why as we go on and on and on with this. Because I'm not going to fucking let this one go. Now, a bit of revision ahead of the next couple of videos. And this is for the strap-on fans. Because I know you're going to jump up in there. These people who I call sausages, these next couple of videos are going to be bangers for you. The 2013 Monaco Grand Prix, have a look at that. Get yourself an F1 TV subscription. Play through the 2013 Monaco Grand Prix. Have a look at when the safety car comes out. See what happens during that safety car. See what Brundle and Crofty say. Okay? Bit of revision for you. Consider it like this. Remember a year or so ago when you were at school and your teachers kind of gave you an indication of what might be on the exam paper, right? And they're basically giving you clues as to the questions you were going to be asked, right? To help you out, to help you get the right answers. That's what I'm doing now, right? It's like that, kids. So have a look at that one. And then have a look at this one. Have a look at the 2013 German Grand Prix. That's all I'm going to say for now. But if you go and watch that Grand Prix, it will obliterate every fucking single argument any of you pricks in the comment section have to say. Period. Anyway, enjoy your night.